I'm Barbara Bree. I'm a candidate for San Diego City Council District 1. We are up against two PACs with a total of $250,000 and counting. These conservative special interests will stop at nothing to elect Ray Ellis, who shares their partisan agenda, including misrepresenting my views. After being corrected by the San Diego Union Tribune and KPBS about my position on the Chargers Stadium, Ray Ellis and an independent expenditure by the Lincoln Club continue to lie about my positions on the Chargers. This is not a new tactic for Mr. Ellis. He relied on mischaracterizing his former opponent's positions in the previous election and was ultimately defeated. Ray is clearly subscribing to the motto, if you don't succeed the first time, lie, lie again. What he doesn't seem to understand is that voters are too smart and do not want slick politicians in the pocket of special interests. I oppose the Chargers plan and do not support public funding to build a stadium. I have been unequivocally clear on my position from day one. I support the Citizens Plan, authored by attorney Corey Briggs, that gives hotel owners tax incentives for funding a non-contiguous convention center expansion, but explicitly prohibits the use of taxpayer dollars to build a stadium. I also oppose building a stadium downtown because I would like to see this area available for expansion of our innovation economy that creates high-paying jobs. Despite receiving a letter from Briggs explaining the plan and an invitation to meet and discuss the particulars, Ellis declined to meet with Mr. Briggs. Additionally, City Attorney Jan Goldsmith has gone on the record as saying, quote, "The Briggs initiative does nothing to build a stadium and does not allow any city money or county money to build a stadium." But Ellis and his supporters continue to spread misinformation. I am running for City Council because I want to give back to the community that has given my family and me so much opportunity. As much as I want to be the City Council advocate for District 1, I refuse to lie or give up my values. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said about Mr. Ellis and his supporters. Now I'd like to read a letter from Scott Barnett, who is a former president and CEO of the Lincoln Club. Dear District 1 voter, as the former president and CEO of the Lincoln Club, of which I am extremely disappointed and dismayed at the disingenuous attacks they have made on Barbara Bree, the Lincoln Club is lying about Barbara's position and lying about the Citizens Plan initiative. During my tenure at the Lincoln Club, we made it a relevant organization by supporting pro-business candidates, but we did not resort to dishonest attacks, as I felt and still feel that the Lincoln Club's long-term credibility was more important than winning a single election. Sadly, these dishonest gutter politics hit piecemealers have sullied the Lincoln Club by its deceitful activities against Barbara Bree. What the Citizens Plan actually says, Part 3, Purposes and Intent. Allowing for retention of the San Diego Chargers in Mission Valley or downtown without taxpayer funding. Page 4, Citizen Plan for the responsible management of major tourism and entertainment resources. This is a major reason why I support the Citizens Plan initiative. As the former executive director of the San Diego County Taxpayers Association and president of taxpayersadvocate.org, I reviewed the Citizens Plan and have endorsed it. And one of the major reasons I support this measure is because it specifically prohibits tax dollars from being spent on a new football stadium. As a lifetime Republican and an advocate for taxpayers, I have endorsed Barbara Bree for District 1 City Council. Her no-nonsense, fact-based approach to tackling issues is sorely needed on the City Council. I have also been impressed with the tremendous amount of grassroots volunteer support she has. I am confident she will make decisions that always keep the taxpayers in mind. Sincerely, Scott Barnett. I'd now like to introduce former City Council member Donna Fry.
Thank you. I am here today to once again correct the false information being circulated about Barbara Bree. First by Mr. Ellis, and now by his associates at the Lincoln Club. The truth is, the citizen plan forbids any public money for a stadium, and that is clearly stated on page 11, section 61.2802J. And Mr. Ellis knows that, because after he put out a press release on March 30th that contained the information about Barbara Bree that was false on her position, we offered to meet with him. Mr. Ellis refused. His statements in the press release were so off base that even the San Diego Union Tribune wrote about his press release. And it said that Ray Ellis got it wrong, it mischaracterizes Bree's position, and the bottom line is the citizens' plan doesn't do what Ray Ellis says it does. Seems pretty clear, doesn't it? But that did not stop Mr. Ellis or cause him to take any responsibility for his false statements. Nope. And on April 16th, when the city attorney said the citizens' plan does not build a stadium or allow any public money to be spent, Mr. Ellis again had an opportunity to accept responsibility and correct his own false words. But did Mr. Ellis do that? Nope. I know Mr. Ellis, and I thought he was a better person who would speak up when he knows the truth is being twisted and contorted. I thought he would run his campaign based on integrity and not resort to cheap and reckless Trumponian behavior. I was wrong. His refusal to disavow these falsehoods and his continued participation in this type of deceptive behavior speaks poorly of his character, disrespects the public, and shows that Mr. Ellis will ignore the truth to get elected. The public deserves better than this, and Mr. Ellis knows that too. If the truth will not stop Mr. Ellis, I believe the voters will.
I'd now like to introduce Joe LaCava.
Thank you, Barbara. Good morning. I endorse Barbara because I trust her to do what's right for the community. She has the integrity and is running an honest campaign focused on the issues that are important to District 1. Her opponent is backed by special interest political action committees that have raised hundreds of thousands of dollars with the intent to mislead the voters. It is so disappointing that they are now resorting to these negative and untruthful tactics. In contrast, Barbara is running a grassroots, volunteer-driven campaign. She's held over 40 neighborhood coffees, has a robust high school and college fellowship program, and has personally knocked on over 5,000 homes so far. The voters in District 1 deserve better. We cannot let big money rule this election. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming today. Your support and taking the time to come this morning means a lot to me. And the hallmark of our campaign has been all about our neighborhoods and running a grassroots effort, and it's why I believe we will prevail in the end. So thank you very much.
Yay.